Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive today,
Yeah.
all about journaling for personal growth.
Yeah. It's funny, we talk about to-do lists and all this kind of stuff, but journaling is really about understanding, ourselves so much better
Right.
and really being able to kind of build those habits and really just kind of, navigate life in a much more, I guess, intentional way.
Yeah, I love that word intention because it really is about getting to that deeper level with yourself.
Yeah.
Like not just checking things off a list, but really figuring out.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where people say, well, I don't really know how to do that. And it's like, well, you've got this internal guidance system.
Right.
And, journaling is that way to really tap into it.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Like it's like a compass or like,
It is like a compass. It's
yeah.
like an inner compass.
Yeah, like those old explorers using the stars or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving us a direction. And one of the reasons it's so effective is because it allows us to externalize our thoughts and feelings.
Okay.
And, when we keep everything bottled up inside, it's like a jumbled mess.
Of course.
It's like, and when we put them on paper,
Yeah.
we give them form and structure.
Right.
It's almost like you're taking a mental snapshot
Yeah.
and you can analyze it.
Totally. Yeah, and it's so interesting because it's like we think of these things as being intangible, but the act of writing it down
Yes.
makes it tangible
It
in the
does.
way that we can then
It makes it real.
work with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and research has shown that writing engages different parts of the brain, particularly those involved in emotional regulation and memory. So when we write about our experiences,
Okay.
we're not just passively recalling them, we're actively processing and integrating them.
So it's like solidifying those things in our brains
Yes.
by writing them down.
It is, exactly.
Okay, wow.
It's like building a stronger neural pathway for those experiences,
then.
making them more meaningful and easier to learn from.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we have those things swirling around in our heads.
Yes.
And it's hard to really make sense of them or like glean any lessons from them. But if you write it down, then you can really look at it.
Yes.
Okay, so how does this all tie into habit formation?
Oh,
Because,
it's exciting.
everybody struggles with habits. Like, how can journaling actually make that process easier?
Journaling can be a game changer when it comes to habit building.
Okay.
And one of the most effective techniques is something called habit reflection journaling.
Okay.
And this involves taking a few minutes each day to reflect on your progress with a specific habit you're trying to cultivate.
So it's more than just like checking off a box on a tracker or something.
So much more.
It's about really getting into the nuances of it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's about asking yourself, did I engage in the habit today?
Okay.
If so, how did it feel? What obstacles did I encounter?
Yeah.
What made it easier or harder to stick with the habit?
So it's almost like you're a detective for your own behavior in a way.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are. By consistently tracking your habits and your emotional responses to them, you will start to notice patterns.
Right.
And maybe you realize that you're more likely to skip your workout on days when you feel stressed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or that you tend to overeat when you're feeling bored.
Yeah.
These are things that
It's like shining a light on those things that we don't even realize are happening.
those subconscious patterns
Right,
that are
exactly.
driving our behavior.
Okay, so once you've sort of identified those patterns,
Yes.
then what?
Well, then you can start to develop strategies to work with them.
Okay.
For example, if stress is a trigger for skipping your workout,
Right.
you could explore stress-reducing techniques like deep breathing or meditation.
Oh,
Or if boredom leads to overeating, you could brainstorm healthier ways to manage those feelings.
so it's about being more intentional rather than just like, I'm stressed, oh, I'm going to eat a bag of chips. Like,
It's about recognizing,
Yeah.
okay, this is what's happening. What am I going to do about it?
right.
So you're not just reacting to your environment, to
Yeah.
your emotions.
Wow.
Like you're
okay.
being more intentional with your choices.
So is habit reflection journaling like the only way to use journaling for habits, or are there other?
No, there are definitely other tools in the journaling toolkit.
Okay.
Another powerful technique is habit stacking,
Okay.
which involves linking a new habit to an existing one.
Oh, okay.
It's like piggybacking on a behavior that's already ingrained in your routine.
Okay, so give me an example. I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Let's say you want to start meditating each morning,
Okay.
but you struggle to make time for it.
Right.
Habit stacking could be your secret weapon.
Okay.
Think of something you already do consistently each morning without fail.
Okay. I brush my teeth.
Brushing your teeth. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to create a whole new time slot for meditation, you simply stack it onto your toothbrushing routine.
Oh.
Each time you finish brushing, you meditate for just 2 minutes.
I love that.
There you go.
I love that because it's so simple
It is.
and it makes so much sense.
It takes the pressure off.
Right?
Trying to overhaul your entire schedule.
Right. You're already doing this one thing
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, I'll just add this other tiny little thing.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden you're meditating.
And journaling plays a key role in this process by helping you choose the right habits to stack and track your progress.
Okay.
You can use your journal to brainstorm potential habit stacks, note what works, and make adjustments as needed.
So journaling becomes like this blueprint.
It is a blueprint.
For habit formation in a way.
It is.
I mean,
It's not just about willpower. It's about understanding our own patterns and working with them rather than against them.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, we often approach habit change with this all or nothing mentality.
Yes.
And it's so easy to beat ourselves up if we slip up or whatever.
Right.
But it sounds like this is a more compassionate approach.
It is.
That's
It's about progress, not perfection.
Right. And I think that's something that journaling really helps with is
Yes.
that shifting that focus
It is.
from achieving the goal
Yes.
to just like, I'm going to understand myself better.
It's about the journey,
Yeah.
not just the destination.
Right. And that journey can be really transformative, I think.
Yes, it can.
So I'm curious for you, like, what are some of the most surprising things you've learned about yourself through journaling?
Oh, wow. I used to think of myself as a very productive person,
Okay.
always pushing myself to achieve more.
Yeah.
But through journaling, I started to realize that my drive for productivity was often rooted in a fear of failure.
It's so interesting how you can like uncover those underlying motivations that you don't even realize are there.
You don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to face those shadows within ourselves.
Right.
But journaling provides that safe and private space to do that work.
It's like you have this like compassionate, non-judgmental friend that's just listening to you and like you don't have to
Absolutely.
worry about what they're going to think of you or
It's just for you.
Right.
And that honesty is so essential for growth.
Yeah.
It allows us to identify the areas where we're holding ourselves back, to challenge limiting beliefs, and to embrace our authentic selves more fully.
So it's not just about habits then. It's like it's about this whole like personal transformation.
It is.
Oh.
It helps us to cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness, to understand our values and motivations, and to align our actions with our aspirations.
Wow.
It's powerful.
That's amazing. And I know that, a lot of people are probably listening to this thinking, this all sounds great, but like,
Yes.
I don't have time or I'm not going to keep up with it.
Yes.
I'm going to start and then stop. Like, what advice would you give to those people?
One of the biggest myths is that journaling has to be this huge time commitment.
Yeah.
People envision these lengthy, detailed entries.
Right. Like they have to write a novel every day.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And the truth is, even just a few minutes
Okay.
can be incredibly impactful.
It's about finding those pockets of time
Yes.
and just making the most of them.
Even if you only have 5 minutes before bed,
Okay.
use that time to jot down a few reflections from your day.
Okay.
What were the highs and lows?
Yeah.
What are you grateful for?
Right.
What are you carrying into tomorrow?
It's just about making it a part of your life, not like another thing
Absolutely.
on the to-do list.
Not another chore.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, there's no right or wrong way to journal. It's all about finding what works for you
Yeah.
and adapting your approach as needed.
Okay.
Some people prefer structured prompts or templates, while others thrive on free-flowing streams of consciousness.
So it's really about just like experimenting and figuring out what feels good to you.
What resonates with you?
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to experiment.
And to be kind to yourself if you miss a day.
Absolutely. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
It's okay to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
The most important thing is to come back to the practice when you're ready.
I love that. And I think that ties into the mental health benefits too.
It does.
Because it's not about like, oh, I have to do this perfectly or
You don't have to be perfect.
I'm a failure.
No.
It's about showing up for yourself consistently.
Yes.
Even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of showing up for ourselves,
Yeah.
let's not forget the profound mental health benefits.
Right, because I think we think of it as like, oh, it's going to help me achieve my goals.
Yes.
But it's also about like taking care of our mental health.
Yes. It's not just a tool for habit building and productivity.
Right.
It's also a powerful way to process emotions, cultivate self-compassion, and enhance overall well-being.
Yeah, so how does it actually do that?
It provides a safe and private space
Okay.
to unpack our emotions,
hmm
explore our thoughts, and cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves.
So, like, without having to worry about burdening anybody else
Right.
with those things.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's a growing body of scientific evidence to support these
Oh,
claims.
wow.
Studies have shown that expressive writing,
Okay.
a form of journaling where you write freely about your feelings,
Okay.
can have a profound impact on emotional regulation, stress reduction, and even physical health.
Wow. So it's not just about venting then.
It's not.
It's about, like,
Yeah,
really.
it's about actively
Yeah.
engaging with our emotions in a way that promotes healing and growth.
Right.
It goes back to that idea of externalization that we discussed earlier.
Okay.
When we write about our feelings,
Yeah.
we create a distance
hmm
between ourselves and those emotions.
Right.
It's like taking a step back and observing them
Yeah.
with greater objectivity, which can help diminish their intensity and prevent them from overwhelming us.
Right. So it's almost like instead of them taking up all this space in your head,
Yes,
you're giving them this designated container
exactly.
to be
You're giving them a voice.
heard
Yes.
and processed in a way.
You got it.
Wow. Okay.
And by externalizing those emotions, we create an opportunity to reframe them, to challenge negative beliefs, and to develop more adaptive coping strategies.
So we're kind of like reclaiming our power over our own minds in a way
You are.
and choosing to cultivate a more
Yes.
peaceful.
Absolutely.
Totally. Okay. Well, I think this has been an amazing overview of kind of like the why of journaling.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to dive deeper into the how in the next parts of this deep dive. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Welcome back to our exploration of journaling.
It feels like we've already uncovered so much about the power of this practice, but I'm eager to like dive even deeper into the specifics. Like, how do we actually do this?
Yeah, now that we've kind of got that foundation of why it's so important, let's talk about some of the, practical techniques and how to make it a more effective and enjoyable part of your life.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so let's start with bullet journaling.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it, but I've always been a little bit intimidated by it because I see these like really elaborate spreads on social media
I totally get that.
with like, calligraphy and drawings and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, you don't have to be an artist to bullet journal.
Okay, good.
The beauty of it is that it's so customizable, so you can really make it your own.
Okay.
So the basic idea is to use bullet points to categorize different types of entries. So you might have tasks, events, notes, ideas.
So it's kind of like a planner, but a little more flexible.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a planner that adapts to your unique needs.
Okay. I like that.
So you can create monthly spreads to track appointments and deadlines. You can have weekly spreads to plan your schedule, and then daily logs to capture your thoughts, your to-dos, and any reflections you might have.
Okay. That sounds super helpful because I am one of those people who like to have things written down
Yeah,
so I don't forget them.
yeah. It's a great way to stay organized.
But what about those artistic elements that I mentioned?
So those are totally optional.
Right.
Some people love to get really creative with their bullet journals and make them visually beautiful.
Right.
But if you're not artistically inclined, don't feel pressured to do that.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
A simple functional approach can be just as effective.
Awesome. So bullet journaling sounds like a good fit for people who are like really into structure and organization.
Yeah.
But what about people who are more like, I want to do some soul searching. I want to really get deep into my feelings.
So if you're looking for a deeper self-reflection and emotional processing, then reflective journaling is an excellent choice. This approach is all about exploring your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a more free-flowing, unstructured way.
So it's less about like checking things off a list and more about like what's going on in here.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about understanding the why behind our emotions and behaviors.
Are there any prompts or questions that might be helpful for this type of journaling?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There are tons of prompts out there, but some good ones to start with are, what am I feeling right now and why?
Okay.
What are the recurring thoughts or patterns that I'm noticing in my life?
Hmm.
What are the lessons that I'm learning from my current experiences?
I love that because it really encourages you to go beyond just like
Yeah,
the surface level
it does.
and like really look at what's going on.
It's about digging deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some other prompts that might be helpful?
What am I grateful for today?
Okay.
And what are my hopes and dreams for the future?
Oh, I love the gratitude one
Yeah,
because I think it's so easy to focus on like what's wrong
it is.
or what we're stressed about and to forget about all the good stuff.
And gratitude is such a powerful emotion.
Yeah.
can really shift our perspective and make us feel more content and abundant.
Okay, so we've talked about bullet journaling and reflective journaling,
Yes.
and I think it's important to also mention the mental health benefits of journaling.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually a growing body of research that supports the therapeutic value of journaling,
Oh, wow.
especially for things like anxiety, depression, and trauma.
So what is it about journaling that makes it so helpful for mental health?
Well, it provides a structured outlet for processing difficult emotions.
Okay.
And we've talked about how writing about our feelings can help us to externalize them, gain perspective, and reduce their intensity.
Yeah, it's like you're giving those emotions a place to go
Exactly.
rather than just like swirling around in your head.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You're giving them a voice and you're also getting them out of your head.
Yeah.
So they're not just stuck in there.
Yeah.
And this can help us to interrupt those negative thought patterns that we all get stuck in,
Right.
to challenge those unhealthy beliefs, and to develop those more adaptive coping mechanisms.
It's like you're becoming the CEO of your own mind.
Yes, you are.
You're taking control
That's right.
of the narrative.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. But I think it's important to also mention that
Yes.
journaling is not a replacement for therapy.
Right.
If you are struggling with something serious.
You know, it's a great complement to therapy,
Yeah.
but it's not a substitute for professional help.
Right. And there's no shame in seeking help
Absolutely.
if you need it.
No.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits of journaling and different types of journaling.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the challenges now.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people listening are probably like, yeah, this all sounds great, but
Right.
I'm not going to actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say to those people?
One of the biggest hurdles is this misconception that journaling requires a significant time commitment.
Right, like I have to block off an hour every day to do this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But the truth is, even short bursts of journaling can be incredibly effective.
So 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you only have 5 minutes before bed, use that time to jot down a few key reflections from your day.
Okay.
What went well? What didn't go so well? What are you grateful for? What are you carrying into tomorrow?
Yeah, it's just about making it a part of your routine. It's
Exactly.
like you don't have to make this big,
It doesn't have to be this formal thing.
this big to-do about it.
Yeah, and be flexible.
Yeah.
You know, there's no need to adhere to rigid rules or formats if you're feeling uninspired by traditional pen and paper journaling.
Okay.
Try something different, maybe do a voice recording or type on your computer or use a journaling app.
I love that because I think people get really caught up in like, it has to look a certain way or it has to be a certain way.
It doesn't.
And really, it's just about getting those thoughts and feelings out.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter how you do it.
Find what works for you.
Yeah.
And don't forget to celebrate your progress.
Oh, that's good.
Every time you make time for journaling, you're prioritizing your self-care and growth.
Yeah.
You're showing up for yourself. So acknowledge your efforts and be kind to yourself on those days when you miss a session.
Right. Because it's not about being perfect.
That's not about perfection.
Yeah. It's about
It's about progress.
just doing it.
That's right.
Okay. So we've talked about kind of the practicalities
Yeah.
of journaling, but I want to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about something that I think is really fascinating, which is the connection between journaling and creativity.
Oh, I love this topic.
Yeah, because I feel like there is one, but I've never really explored it consciously.
Yeah, there's a powerful connection there.
Okay.
Journaling can be a wellspring of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a space for free association, brainstorming, exploring unconventional thoughts.
Mm.
It allows us to tap into that part of ourselves that's playful, imaginative, and uninhibited.
It's like giving our inner child free rein.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's about letting our imaginations run wild without judgment or constraints.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
So there are a few techniques that can be really helpful. One is called free writing.
Yep.
And that's where you set a timer for a specific duration, like 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
And you just write continuously without stopping to edit or overthink.
Oh, that sounds scary.
It can be a little scary at first,
Yeah.
but it's amazing what comes out when you just let go.
So it's about capturing that raw stream of consciousness
Exactly.
without censoring ourselves.
That's right.
Okay.
And you might be surprised by the unexpected connections and insights that emerge from this process.
Interesting.
Often our most creative ideas are buried beneath layers of self-doubt and overthinking.
Right. We're always second-guessing ourselves.
Yes. So free writing helps us to bypass those mental blocks and access our raw, unfiltered creativity.
That's awesome.
Great.
What other techniques are there?
Another technique is called clustering or mind mapping.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
I have. I've used it for brainstorming, but never for journaling.
Yeah, it's a great tool for both.
Okay.
So you start with a central idea and then you branch out with related thoughts, concepts, and images.
So it's a very visual approach.
It is.
Okay.
It allows us to engage both our verbal and visual processing centers, which can enhance our creative output.
Interesting.
It's like creating a visual map of our thoughts and ideas.
Okay. I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah, it's fun.
So it feels like we've really expanded our definition of journaling.
Yeah.
It's not just about processing emotions or organizing our to-do lists.
Right.
It's about like tapping into our creativity
Yes.
and like all these different aspects of ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's like this secret weapon.
It is a secret weapon.
Yeah.
It's a powerful tool for self-discovery, healing, and growth.
And the more we do it,
Yes.
the more we learn about it.
The more we uncover.
Yeah.
It's an evolving journey.
So what's next?
Well, in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to talk about how to actually integrate journaling into your daily life.
Okay, perfect.
Address some of those common challenges that we all face, and hopefully inspire you to embark on your own journaling journey.
I can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of journaling.
Yeah, it's been a really fascinating journey so far.
It has, and I think now we're at the point where people are like, okay, this sounds great, but how do I actually make this a part of my life?
Right, like how do I actually do the thing?
Exactly. So what advice do you have for people who are ready to take that next step?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that there's no one right way to journal.
Okay.
It's all about finding what works for you and your unique needs and preferences.
So, like, there's no need to compare ourselves to other people.
No comparison is the thief of joy.
I love that.
So don't worry about what other people are doing in their journals. Focus on creating a practice that feels authentic and meaningful to you.
Okay, so what are some practical tips for getting started?
One of the biggest things is to start small.
Okay.
A lot of people get overwhelmed because they think they have to write these long, elaborate entries every day.
Right, like it has to be this big commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the truth is that even just a few minutes of journaling can be incredibly powerful.
Okay, so like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say to somebody who's like, I literally don't even have 5 minutes?
Well, I would challenge them to really look at their day and see where they can carve out those few minutes.
Okay.
Maybe it's first thing in the morning before you start your day. Maybe it's right before bed.
Right.
Maybe it's during your lunch break or while you're commuting.
So
There are always little pockets of time that we can find if we're intentional about it.
I love that. And I think it's also important to be flexible.
Oh, absolutely.
Like some days you might have more time than others, and that's okay.
Yeah, some days you might just write a sentence or two, and other days you might fill pages.
Right.
It's all about listening to your inner rhythm and honoring what feels right in the moment.
So don't beat yourself up if you miss a day.
No, be kind to yourself.
Okay.
Life happens. We all get busy. We all have those days where things just don't go according to plan,
Right.
and that's okay.
So what about those times when you're sitting down to journal and you're like, I have nothing to say?
Yeah, writer's block happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But there are a few things you can do to get those creative juices flowing again.
Okay.
One thing I love to do is use prompts.
Okay.
So a prompt is basically just a question or a statement that can help you to focus your thoughts and get your pen moving.
Okay. So like, what are some examples of prompts?
Some simple ones that I like are, what am I grateful for today? Or what's something that brought me joy today? Or what's something I'm looking forward to?
I love those. Those are really good.
Yeah, and you can find tons of prompts online or in books,
Okay.
or you can even come up with your own.
I like that.
Another technique that I find really helpful is free writing.
Okay. We talked about that a little bit in the last part.
Yeah, so basically you just set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and write continuously without stopping to edit or overthink.
Okay.
It's a great way to clear your head and to get those thoughts and feelings out onto the page.
And don't judge yourself.
Phone judgment.
Just let it flow.
Let it all flow out.
Okay. So we've talked about starting small, being flexible, using prompts, free writing. Any other tips for making journaling a sustainable practice?
Yeah, I think it's important to create a ritual around your journaling practice.
Oh, yeah.
So this could be something as simple as finding a quiet spot where you won't be interrupted, lighting a candle, putting on some calming music, whatever, helps you to feel relaxed and focused.
Yeah, I love that because
Yeah.
it's almost like you're signaling to your brain that it's time to shift gears.
Exactly.
Like we're entering a sacred space now.
Yeah, a sacred space for self-reflection and self-expression.
So I think it's important to reiterate that journaling is a journey.
It-
It's not a destination.
No.
There's no finish line.
Yeah.
It's something that we can continue to explore and experiment with throughout our lives.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover about ourselves through journaling.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what final message would you like to leave our listeners with?
I would say be patient with yourself.
Okay.
It takes time to develop a consistent journaling practice. So don't get discouraged if you miss a few days or even a few weeks.
Right.
Just keep coming back to it and trust that the more you write, the more benefits you'll experience.
And don't be afraid to have fun with it.
Yes, have fun with it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this serious chore.
It should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
So experiment, try different things, see what resonates with you.
And most importantly, just keep writing.
Keep writing.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of journaling.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you found it helpful and inspiring, and until next time, happy journaling, everyone.